need to continue to do this work. He said, the white man needs this information to reconnect with the earth, and he said they'll hear it best from a white person. He said, you know how to talk their language, so it's really important that you do this. So being a person who needs permission to do things, that was my permission that day to continue with the work. And it's the language of my heart, it really is. You know how you keep saying, oh, I want to know what I'm supposed to do when I grow up, you know, when am I going to grow up, when am I going to find out what it is? And that was the gift my son gave me through his death and led me to that. So I'm just excited to be able to share my journey with you and tell you a little bit about it. So what is shamanism? There is, oh, in fact, it's over here. I will read you a definition of shamanism. Oh, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's in my other folder. Anyway, what it is it's a family of traditions that use certain techniques to access spiritual information. And the whole idea is to help the community. That's the big important part. No one's a solo shamanic practitioner. You always do things to help the community. It's community-based, tribal-based, indigenous people-based, all of it. And so there is that bigger picture that you look at in working with people in shamanism. And it's always like for healing purposes, you would look at not only what's happening to the person or the symptoms in the person, but you will look at what's happening in their environment, not just their home environment, but a shaman might ask you, how are the trees where you live? How are the rivers where you live? Because all of that impacts us. One of the core principles of shamanism is that everything is interconnected, and what one person does affects everything else. We cannot separate ourselves from that. We are all connected, and we need to act responsibly. When you realize and live your life from that perspective, you realize that all of your actions, all of your words, they all cause other actions as well. And so we need to be careful with that. Another core principle is that is the belief in animism that everything has a spirit. Everything is alive and holy and sacred and has a spirit. So if you live your life from that perspective, you live your life from that place of awe and reverence and care and kindness and compassion, and look at the beauty of the grass and know that there's a spirit in the grass, and there's a spirit of the wind, and there's a spirit of this winery, and there's the spirit of the land, and we're never alone. We're all connected again with all of those energies. And it's a beautiful way to live your life, if you can stay there all the time. That's the key. But it's, I can't tell you the feeling that it gives you to really believe that and incorporate that into your life. The Celts have a way of communing with nature that they call love talking. And they will say, like, beautiful is the sun rising early in the morn, and beautiful too are the running rivers of the land. And so the formula is beautiful is and beautiful too. And it's all things that they're recognizing. So beautiful is the fresh cut green grass. Beautiful too is the aroma from the fresh cut green grass. Or it could be the blue sky, or it could be anything. And what it does is it puts you in the present moment. It puts you right there in that moment. Shamanism today is so relevant to what's happening in the world. The feminine, and I know most of you probably have already heard this from other spiritual leaders, is that the feminine needs to rise up, and we need to bring our world into balance because we're out of balance. And there's nothing more feminine than connecting with the earth. That is what is needed. We need to find our roots back to that again. The feminine is open and receptive and intuitive and creative. We need to bring that back into our lives and bring that into our world. so we can balance that out. And so women have a really important job right now, is to not hide away in the shadows anymore, but to come out and use your divine feminine power. Lots of women don't even know what that is anymore, because the only model of power that we've had is a masculine power. And so when the feminist movement came along, we adopted the masculine power. Be assertive and get out there. Blah, 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 blah. That's not honoring our feminine power of being open and receptive and compassionate and intuitive and honoring that ourselves. We've sold out, and we need to find that again and bring that back into our world and into our institutions and systems and all of it. We need to honor that feminine again. But it's got to start with us. We have to honor it first within ourselves. And so one way of doing that is in reconnecting with the earth. And I have a handout over there for you that just gives you lots of suggestions on how you can actually use healing with nature, go out into nature and find healing for yourself and work with that and connect with the earth. There's a book out called Last Child in the Woods. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. And it's about our children that are growing up nature deficient instead of attention deficient. They're nature deficient. And again, we need to reconnect. There's a new book out called Earthing that has shown that when we walk barefoot on the earth, we receive an electrical charge that actually stimulates our immune system. And when you think of this, most of our soles now, unless we have really good expensive shoes, are plastic or whatever, and that electrical charge does not come through. You need to be barefoot. You need to lay down on the earth. Indigenous peoples used to sleep on the earth. We need that electrical charge. There's something there that Mother Earth can do for our own healing. And so, again, it's another thing that we have lost. We've lost another connection just for our own health and well-being. And getting back to the importance of the earth, the ancient Celts saw the land as the body of the goddess. It was actually the land. And so, again, they saw the land as so sacred and holy. They saw nature as the song of the universe. And they don't have a creator myth at all in their story. There's no creation story. It's the land. The land is what sustains you and what gives you life and what you work with in your life. And so, listening to the sounds of nature, they would transport themselves to other realities, to other spaces, into the other world, as they would say. And so in studying shamanism, you do learn techniques for going into what they would call a shamanic state of consciousness to access spiritual information for yourself. And that's done through a process called journeying. And in journeying, first of all, you would go with your power animal. You would discover a power animal for yourself. Now, the indigenous peoples believe that the plants and the animals are all here to be our teachers. And if anybody has an animal, a pet, you know, they teach you. I have a cat who runs the house. I know that. You know, I don't even try anymore. But I know they show unconditional love no matter what you do. I mean, you know, they're so loving no matter what happens, and they are teachers for us. But usually for a power animal, it's usually a wild animal, not a domesticated animal. That is your power animal. And this animal